Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session. This is our second live session. This is our second week for this astronomy class, which is again basically a fast-paced summer class. And the purpose of this is just to make sure that we know what is actually the most important important assignment, what needs to be done, and so that we can prioritize and make sure that we know we take care of the most important things first, and then we go down the road. I know because of the fact that this is a fast pace, there is more units per week than a normal class, because during a normal semester you typically take more than one class, but because it's a summer session, usually you take only one at most, maybe two. Okay, so because you can't do it more than that, so that's why there is more load per week than a normal semester. Again, this is week 2. We have so many things that are actually popped up. If you guys had a chance to go through Canvas, which I urge you to do as soon as possible, because there are several assignments that had shown, including quizzes, homework assignments, and also a midterm review, in addition to the discussion items, which you have already seen before. And there is a midterm review, and I'm going to talk about that. And there is an actual midterm also. Initially, it was supposed to be due this weekend, but I changed it so that it's going to open on Saturday. You will have the entire day of Saturday, the entire day of Sunday, the entire day of Monday to make sure to finish that midterm, which tells you from the get-go that's probably the number one, the most important assignment that you're going to focus on, bar none. So it's the most important assignment leading to this coming Monday, a week from today. We will have another meeting this coming Monday, June 10th, and I'm going to reiterate on that again because it would be due at that time on that same night. So again, make sure there is an order now of things that needs to be prioritized. So if I'm picking the order, that would be the number one assignment. There is another assignment that also is there, that also is available this week, and that is for the lunar observation, for the lunar photography project. If you watch my recording from previous classes, you will see probably I'm talking about another project, which is lunar observation. There is no lunar observation for this class because you would need at least a whole month of observation to complete that assignment, in addition to at least 2 more weeks to complete the report. We don't have a month and a half in this class. The entire class from beginning to end is 5 weeks. So we don't have enough time to do the lunar observation. However, we have plenty of time to do the lunar photography project. So that assignment opens up today. And again, I changed the due date on the assignment because if you go and look at the moon tonight, the moon is actually going to be in its a waning crescent, meaning it's a tiny crescent and it's shrinking. I think today is like 12% showing. Tomorrow is going to even be less. It's going to be 5%, and the day after it's going to shrink further. So there will be no moon. So if you are going to do lunar photography in the next few days, you're not going to be able to find the moon because it's going to be fading and then going through the new phase again where it's going to become a new moon, and then it's going to be a crescent, and that crescent is going to be a waxing crescent, basically increasing a few percentage every day. You will have to wait until the 16th, the 17th of this month when the moon is in the gibbous form. Basically, it would have been a quarter moon already and now increasing to have a decent chance at it. Granted, on those nights, you will have no clouds. So we're going to allow this project to be due on the 26th, which is the day before when this class is supposed to be over. So you will have around the 16th, the 17th, or the 18th of the month, the 19th, potentially even the 20th, when it's a full moon, to take pictures, okay? And upload the picture and answer the questions in the project. So that project is a required project. Again, it's important. So the order of picking already, it's stated as stands. The first thing and the far more important assignment at this point is the midterm, okay? The second thing, which still have time to build towards it, is going to be the project, okay? You will have daily stuff, those things, discussions and homework assignments and quizzes, and those they will have their own, basically. The quizzes are usually short quizzes, and there is forgiving in them in a sense that if you don't do well in the first one, you have a second chance, and you can always improve on your grade in that. The homework assignments, you're not graded about the accuracy. You're trying to get the answer as much as you can. If you need help, you're going to reach out to me. And again, the lowest two of them are going to be dropped. So there is a little bit of room in there. The purpose of the homework assignments is so that you guys can understand better the concept. So usually with numbers, usually people things stick better. Things basically you learn better that way. So that's another thing. And in addition to the discussion items, that's to make sure that you guys are reading the content, because without it, nothing can happen. None of the things I mentioned before can happen, whether quizzes or midterms or projects or anything, homework assignments. So you make sure that you're doing your homework, you're reading, and that is again reflected in the discussion items. So those are the things that we have in order. Okay, so let me jump into this week and share with you the screen. I need that. Let me go home first. Okay, share. I just want to make sure that at least somebody can confirm that that you guys are looking at the same page I'm looking at, which shows that the introduction to Astronomy 120, the landing page.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you very much. Anyway, so this is, again, the main thing at this point, we are supposed to be working on the modules, okay? So I'm going to click on them. And as I mentioned in the previous communications, this is where the link for the textbook is. So hopefully you guys already have that under wrap. Please, while you're watching the recordings from previous classes that refers to week 1, week 2, and things, so on and so forth, those are supposed to be module 1, module 2, and so on and so forth. So, and again, in 1 week, you will have more than the regular amount of reading that was before. For example, in week 1, we had unit 5, 6, 7, and 8, because both of them are module 1. Part 1, part 2, they're both of them from last week. So you have 5 units to read from last week, okay? And then we have also the Lunar Observation Project. And I think the due date is, it shows in here. Let me refresh with the window, because I think the window is kind of reflective of an old information. Okay, well, why is it showing the, let me double click on it to make sure the due date is correct. Okay, I guess I didn't save it. So let me change this due date. Oh, I'm sorry, never mind. You see, you guys are looking at the same thing as I'm looking at as an instructor, and that is not correct. Okay, so you see in here, this is the one I was talking about. This is the lunar project. The lunar project is not part of what you're supposed to be doing in this class. As a matter of fact, it has an X on it. It's not published. So let me go back and look at it from your vantage point so that I see it as a student. So I'm going to switch to student view. so that you see only the things that you're supposed to be seeing, okay? If I go to week 1, there is no more of that lunar observation project. So that lunar observation, as I was saying, would require at least 5 weeks to 6 weeks. No, would require a month and a half to complete, which is not the amount of time that we have for this class. So instead, we're going to do the lunar photography project, and that is due on June 26th, as it should be, okay? That's the day before the last day of school. So that is the lunar photography project. And that is from module 2, part 1. So this is the week that we're talking about, okay? So here we have unit lecture 10. So unit 10, as part of the reading assignment. Again, in the same week, we have 11 and 12. In the same week still, we have 34 and 35. We're talking about now the moon and the Venus. And again, 37 and 38. We would have completed all the things relevant to our planetary systems, because that's the focus of this for this units in here. So by this time, by the end of week 2, which is this week, would have all of this in units read, okay, up to 41 actually in here. All of this units read. Next week, it's a grade, because it's still not available until next Monday, this coming Monday, is the other units. So there is quite a bit of reading this week, okay? So make sure you go through them. Now, we have, as I was saying before, in this week 2, some homework assignments, and don't spend too much time on them. If you find yourself spending more than 10 minutes on each of those assignments, you know that you spend too much time. You need to stop, reach out, and let's get this thing done. There is a lot of resources, by the way, on the YouTube channel for this very same homework. So you can look them up for astronomy homework number 1, and you will see the resources in there, and you can follow them step by step if you want to copy those. So it's not an exam. It's not like a challenge that if you don't know how to do it, no, the purpose of it is that you do it, okay? That's why the resources on YouTube are for you guys, on the channel, of course, my channel, so that you can go and basically understand how those things are done and submit them, just to deepen your understanding of the topics. Again, same thing. You have homework 2 and 3, so there are more of those. You have quizzes now. This is still the same week in here as we're talking about. All of these quizzes, honestly, they are preparing you for something that is this week also. And then you have this thing, okay? Midterm review, midterm 1 review. The midterm review has 2 grades. Either you get the entire 83 points grade for it, or you get none. And the only way you get none is by not doing it, okay? If you open the review and you start answering questions and you submit them, and let's say, for example, for the sake of argument, you scored 20 out of 83. It doesn't matter how much you score, 1 out of 83 or 81 out of 83. It doesn't matter. The point being, in here, you're going to get the full credit for it. Why is this so? It's to prepare you, to make sure that you're doing what it takes to pass the class. You're preparing for your actual review, okay? For your actual exam, I'm sorry. So it's a very important step. So it's a participation grade, so it's not going to go to your midterm grade, but it's going to go to make sure that you're participating and engaging in the class. And that has a weight actually overall in the class. But as I was saying, there are only 2 grades for this midterm review. Either you get the entire full credit or you get no credit whatsoever. Please don't do the latter. It's not really good not to do the review. It's very important that you take the entire class seriously. And as I was saying before, the midterms in general have a lot of weight in the class, so which really goes to show that this one is actually important. So you have to make sure you complete this one by the 7th, which is this Friday. Okay, so that is important. Okay. And the actual midterm is, as I was saying before, is due on Monday. Okay, it's going to be available this coming Saturday. So if you're working during the week, you will have a chance to do it on Saturday. Please start it on Saturday if you can. Don't delay it until Sunday or even Monday. Don't delay it. Start it immediately. So if you can, do that. Now, let's say, for example, you're working on weekends and you dedicated the entire week for your class. Well, in this case, it's still open on Monday. So you have the entire day, Monday until 11 p.m. And again, don't wait until like 10:30 p.m. and you decide, you know what, now let me go and take care of this midterm. That is a bad strategy because usually at 10:30 p.m. there will be probably a power outage, there will be probably an internet issues, and maybe you will be too tired and things like that. So it's not a good idea to do that. So if you're delaying it until Monday, I would suggest you start it as soon as possible on Monday. By 10 o'clock in the morning, by noon in the morning in that day on Monday, that should be the panic button. That should be really now it has to be done ASAP. There is no delay in it. Okay. I should be in a panic mode if I know I have a midterm that is due at 11 p.m. that same day. By 10 o'clock in the morning, worst case scenario, by noon on that day, I am in a panic mode. That means I have to go home, focus, have my coffee ready, have everything that I'm supposed to have, and now take care of this. I don't want it to be at 1 p.m. I don't want it to be at 2 p.m. In worst case scenario, I don't want it to leave it at night where things starts to be really in a kind of a bad scenario. Again, this is it. This is one of the main things. You'll have 3 midterms in this class. One of them will be dropped automatically by Canvas. Don't plan on having this one to be dropped. Don't plan to have any one of them be dropped, by the way. But just in case there is some conditions that are outside of your control, then in that case, you can basically, okay, that's the one I'm going to drop. It doesn't matter which, but hopefully not the first one. Okay. So that's the class in here. Now, if you have urgent conditions where you're going to miss 2 midterms, which amounts to about 2/3 of the class, then I would suggest you really have to retake the class because there is no use of 1/3 of the class is not going to amount to the whole class. So you can't do that. Because I don't do makeup exams, because there will be no extension past the due date, that is a policy. Make sure you dedicate 3 days. You have to, from the 3 days, you dedicate at least an hour and a half. You will have plenty of time to do the exam, to your exam. If you can't do it for one reason or the other, or if you struggle with it the first time around because you did not either complete the review or something else, then in this case, knowing that you have 2 more chances to make up for it and make up for it in full. No short change. So in that case, you are still in control of the situation. Okay. So that is the main thing at this point in here. You have to do the reading. So all of this is based on that. You have to watch the videos to help you with the readings. Try to do the homework assignments as much as you can. Submit them. Engage in the discussion that is showing you're doing your reading. Make sure you're doing your review leading to this one by Friday, Saturday. This Saturday, I am ready for the midterm. I'm going to take the midterm by doing the reading. I did the quizzes, tried the homework, and then did the review. Now I'm ready for it. I'm ready to tackle this class, okay? Take the midterm, relieved. I have other things to take care of course, because again, this is a fast-paced course. There is very little break basically between assignments. Then move on to the next, okay? In terms of a project, at this point, I wouldn't really think about it other than the fact that probably glance at it. So I'm going to look at it at this point just to give you a flavor of what this thing is so that you don't go and lose sleep over it too. So again, it gives you the background of the different phases of the moon, okay? From day 1, when the new moon is, and as the sun sets, the next day is going to be a crescent, and that crescent is increasing in size from day 1, 2, 3, now day 4. Day 8, we're looking at about quarter moon, okay? And then that quarter moon continued to grow. This is a gibbous until we are on day 15, okay? Which is the full moon. The sun sets on the west side, the moon rises on the east side on the same night and stays the entire night in the sky. The next day, which is the other side of the month, the other half of the month, when the sun rises in the east, the moon is setting in the west. Again, this is the same day as this one. It rose in the west, the sun was setting in, it rose in the east, the sun was setting in the west. And by the end of the day, the moon sets in the west, the sun rises in the east. And this process continues for the next day. The moon starts to linger a little longer in the sky as the sun rises. So actually we see it during daytime, okay, in the morning, that is. And by day 22, it's a quarter moon, but it's decreasing in sign. So this is a gibbous that is waning. This is a crescent that is waning. We are around this time right now, today. We are in a crescent that is waning, okay? So as the sun rises in the morning, in the east, of course, the moon is still as a crescent that is small. So really, if you want to see it tonight, you have to wake up extremely early before sunrise, okay? If you're going to do the project, if you want to go and start doing the project. If you have to wake up probably around 4 o'clock, before 4 o'clock, because the sun, the dawn is around what, 4:20, 4:23 maybe today. That's what dawn is. So you have to wake up around 3:30 to see the moon as a crescent that is small. Actually, you're not going to be able to do much this days. That's why you have to wait until June 15th, then when you start on it. So way after the midterm, way after everything else. So what should I do? Well, you go, you take the date when you saw the moon, the time when you saw the moon, and then you try to identify as many things that you can see in the moon. The biggest one is going to be this crater that is in the southern hemisphere of the moon, Tycho crater. And there are some more features in here. This map in here help you identify these things. You're going to tell me what you saw, basically, in the report. And I know photography is going to be hard. And if you take a picture with the you know how cameras are sometimes? You have to click on them and they stay open, collecting more and more light because the moon is extremely lit. So it's going to be all basically light things. So it's going to be an overexposed moon. So normal cameras, including those of the phones, they usually take bad pictures of the moon. The purpose of which is not really how good your quality of the picture is or how good of a picture taker you are. That is not a test into photography. It's just to make sure you go out there with your friends or your family or even by yourself and enjoy the night and basically try to identify as many features as you can. Try to your best to take a picture and upload that picture. It doesn't matter the quality, okay? That is not the purpose. The purpose is that you do the actual observation and you do the photography. And in here, there is a rubric basically in how this assignment is going to be graded. And we're going to talk about that one down the road when we come closer from it. You can upload a text. You can upload media, which is pictures or video. I would encourage you to do a video, including with your phone, basically. If you take a picture and upload it to your computer, you can turn your phone to your computer and show basically this is the picture that I took, okay? No big deal. Or include the picture as a separate upload, like an image, okay? So if you're going to do a video, are going to require that you make it a short video, no more than hopefully 5-10 minutes at most, between 5 and 10 minutes. 7 minutes will be ideal, okay? You don't have to spend a lot of, basically, this is not a composition. This is not an English test. The purpose of which, again, you do the actual observation, you show that you have done the actual observation, and you follow the map that is given to you, and you identify the different features of the moon that you can see with your own eye, okay? So this is the product. Again, it has its own grading rubric, it has its own grading category, and it has an influence over your overall grade. Not as much as the midterm, but it has nonetheless about 10%, I think, of your grade. Don't quote me on that. Please review the syllabus exactly how much it is. But it has an impact, so make sure you do that. Okay? So, to summarize what I've been talking about in terms of assignments this week, you have, of course, your reading. That's essential. Without it, we can't move. Midterm 1, the review leading to that midterm, and all of the other normal stuff. Okay? Any questions? No? Somebody's shaking the head. No. Okay. Thank you, Isela. Okay. I'm going to post because we have only fraction of everybody who's supposed to be here. We have probably about what, maybe, I would say about 10%. No, more, actually about 25% of everybody who's supposed to be in the class in here. Okay. And 20, 25%. I don't have the calculator with me. So I'm going to record, we recorded this session, so I'm going to post it back on Canvas. And one of you guys mentioned something that that person was having difficulty with the flat Earth project. Okay. And there is a link in the bottom in here that please don't forget to click on it. Okay. And that opens a hypothesis. Okay, so it's okay. I guess this is a test student, as you can clearly see. Do you guys see what I'm seeing in here? Okay. For this student, of course, is just a test student. It's not like the a normal student. So it says that this student really doesn't have an email, so I can't really access it. But you're supposed to click on that link, and there is a room for comments in there. We're going to answer the questions. Okay. But this student is not authorized to use it because this student is just a test student. Okay. Now, again, if you have difficulty with it still, please reach out. There is only one person who mentioned it. I know a lot of you submitted it, so it's not a problem for everybody. And again, hopefully you guys can work together if in case you can reach out to one another and help one another, okay? Any questions before we end this session? No? Okay, well, thank you very much. I know some of you are actually here right now, and I know two of you, at least two of you, if not more, are supposed to be in my other class that starts in about an hour right now. So I'll give you a chance to come because that's an in-campus class. So I'll see you guys later on, okay, in about 1 hour. Thank you.